Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AQL Technology ServiceNow webinar, Technology Workflows Focused on SPM. My name is Steve Linker, and I am an account manager with AQL Technologies. And with us today also is Sameer Mohammed. He is our ServiceNow practice lead.
Hey guys, my name is Sameer Mohammed, and I am the ServiceNow practice lead at AQR Technologies. I've been in the IT industry for the past 28 plus years, and I've been doing ServiceNow for the past decade.
Great, thanks, Sameer. So a little bit about AQL before we get started. We're a Microsoft Gold and ServiceNow Premier Partner. We're GSA certified, SBA 8A certified. We have almost 2 decades of IT experience, 5,000 plus ServiceNow projects, over 500 plus ServiceNow deployments, 100 plus contributions for the year, and 200 plus certified experts. And also, I did want to mention as well that our approach is to work with you as a team member, not just an external provider. We delve deep into understanding your portfolio, your business operations, goals, and how you manage your projects. This understanding allows us to configure strategic portfolio management systems in a manner that aligns precisely with your portfolio, your targets, projects, ensuring that it's intuitive, familiar, and immediately impactful for you and your team right from day one. Our ultimate focus is on delivering concrete results that not only contribute directly to your strategic goals, but also to enhance your overall success of your projects. So I am going to hand things over to our ServiceNow practice lead, Sameer Mohammed. Sameer?
Thank you, Steve. So I'm going to get started with the agenda over here. Let's take a look at what's in scope in the webinar today. As you know, I've been running a series of webinars which are focused on to start with the technology workflow, and along with giving an overview of the product in itself, I covered the licensing, and that's exactly what's going to happen in this section as well. I'm going to go ahead and explain SPM, what are all the tools and features built within SPM, and after that, let's go ahead and take a look at the licensing associated with SPM. It's going to be pretty demo heavy as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at why buy ServiceNow licenses from AQL first. So AQL is a reseller of ServiceNow licenses. We are, as Steve mentioned, we are a premier partner. And so some of the points, some of the major leverage that clients get from using us for buying their ServiceNow licensing is we validate their existing licenses and provide suggestions if they already have any of the existing products. We understand the requirements that the clients have and then suggest them cost saving strategies, assist clients in selecting the best packages, and that goes hand in hand with the roadmaps as well. We implement a roadmap with you, and then we show you what are the different products and the tools within those products that we would be leveraging, that we would be using as we implement the ServiceNow roadmap for those products. Assist also access to expert product architects. So AQL Technologies has product architects on every single product. So that gives our clients immense skill set to use when they are purchasing these licenses. Also, we take proactive actions in monitoring your licenses. If the active users become inactive, if approvers or fulfillers are inactive for like a certain period of time, like for example 3 months, you still want to use them instead of waiting for like a whole year. So there are several different alerts that we set up around monitoring your licenses. Also, I've seen a lot of times that when it's time for buying licenses, there's no proper planning. So how about we let our clients know like a couple of months in advance? So these are some of those major advantages. Also, in line with what I said, help implement a roadmap, see where you're heading with ServiceNow products. Are you just buying ServiceNow products and not even using them, or what's your roadmap? And then finally, realizing the ROI with your ServiceNow implementation. So with that being said, let's go and talk about some typical challenges that I've seen that organizations face, for which ServiceNow SPM is a very good candidate. So as you can see over here, one of the main things that comes with ServiceNow, one of the main things that I've seen that there are issues with is disconnected work. I have seen that that a lot of these different services, a lot of, there's several different products. There might be project server, there might be Excel, there might be several different applications where portfolios are being managed, where planning is being done. But the good thing about ServiceNow is that it brings all of that together. So with that, there's no more disconnected work. So it aligns all of work on a single platform for enhanced collaboration and visibility. The second challenge is CEOs are concerned with their operating models cannot keep up with the pace, and that's where you need the agile, framework for the whole enterprise, and that's what ServiceNow provides. Misaligned strategy and work. There's no alignment between the work being done and then the goals and the roadmap of an organization, and lacking shared visibility. You know, many strategic plans fail due to poor communication. And that's what SPM does. It brings in the visibility from all the way down at the bottom to the C-level suite. And then, eliminates any lack of transparency. There's always, I've seen difficulty in tracking dependencies, in tracking and managing dependencies between different projects. And SPM is really good at that. And finally, lack of resource utilization. SPM lets you create resource plans, at making the most efficient use of those resources. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and take a look. So let's get started with looking at the bigger picture of SPM. As you can see over here, when I talk about, SPM, the first thing that, you know, which is coming to the mind is strategy, alignment, and delivery. And as you can see over here, the strategy, align, and deliver are key objectives of SPM. Organizations can plan, deliver, and track value using different methodologies, maybe agile, maybe waterfall, maybe safe, just pretty much name it, or hybrid. So SPM is a powerful set of applications spanning operation management, business management, service management across enterprise. And it could be possible that that a project might begin with idea from people within the organization, all of which can be entered in SPM. So there's, so as soon as an idea comes, they can actually be ideas. But a lot of times, what happens is these ideas are being entered, and they probably might be converted into projects, but there's no alignment with a central strategy that the organization is heading towards, and that's what strategy brings in. So looking at the three other tools over here, you can see that with strategy, you get goals and targets, you get strategic planning, and then you get strategic architecture. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all of these tools and give you a live demo as well. With alignment, you're going to have, you know, the whole idea management process, and then how the whole idea becomes a demand, and how the idea is, and how the idea and demand are basically what is the investment backing it up. And all of these ideas and demands are aligned with the strategy that I set up. And finally, when all of these are put together, how about the deliverable? Let's go ahead and talk about the deliverable. What methodology is being used for deliverable? So there's a unified, backlog over here that you can use. There's integration with Jira. There's integration with Azure DevOps, and then plus ServiceNow has its own, agile development, configuration all built within it. So depending on how you want to do it. So basically, it takes you. It's very powerful when it comes down to these technologies. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all the features which are, features and tools which are built within SPM. So this is how all the features are grouped together in SPM: strategic planning, enterprise agile, and project portfolio management. And down at the bottom, you can see, all those features which come with the platform in itself. Talk about Gen AI, talk about process mining, talk about workflows, like really powerful workflows, talk about dashboards, talk about integrations, and then talk about chatbots and mobile access as well. So all of these together in combination with these tools make SPM one of the strongest tools in the market. So with strategic planning, users can create goal framework, portfolio planning, roadmap planning, funding, innovation, capacity planning, all of those great things which are required for strategy planning. Using enterprise agile, all of the development can be done, and development of services can be achieved through agile frameworks with backlogs, stories, epics, and using test management. And it could be, it could be agile, it could be hybrid, it could be waterfall, it could be safe, just pretty much name it. And using project portfolio management, you can manage portfolios, programs, projects, resources, financials, demands, timesheets, and more. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how it works in the bigger picture over here. So a picture speaks 1,000 words. And if you take a look at it, then this is how strategy starts. Goals and targets are laid out together, by the C-level guys, and there's funding that's put together. And depending on all of that, and this is all an agile way, keeping up with the demands of the C-level guys, catching up with the pace of that. All of that is put together, and you call that, and a roadmap is put together for that. And with the roadmap, that's where it starts in ideas which are coming through from all the employees. What is the capacity planning even with all the ideas? So how do you qualify an idea? Are they aligned with the business, with the organizational plans? Are they aligned with the targets? Are they aligned with the strategies, with the goals as well? So that's really what, looking at all of that, that's been converted over to demands. And then demands are basically put together, analyzed with several different criteria. There's a whole big governance around it. And the governance actually approves the execution of it. And the execution is based off using project methodologies like Agile, safe, waterfall, hybrid, just pretty much name it. And right after that, when it comes down to the execution, there's the unified backlog, which is built within the ServiceNow, or you can integrate that with Jira if that's what you're using Jira for all your delivery, or with Azure DevOps as well. And there's a bi-directional sync with ServiceNow with all of these tools. So at the end of the day, all of that is built within the ServiceNow platform, and everybody there's a bottom to the top visibility of all the portfolios and all the financial costs associated with everything. So I think that it's time to get started with the demo. So let's go ahead and take a look at the strategic planning workspace over here. So let's click on the strategic planning workspace, and it's going to open up the workspace over here, and basically takes me to the portfolio plans over here. And in the portfolio plans, I can go ahead and create a brand new plan over here, which is pretty much just laid out by the different lenses: organization, product, project portfolio, strategic investment, value stream, and goals. So depending on the kind of responsibilities I have, I can go ahead and create project portfolio plans based on that. And so as you can see over here in lines, so portfolio plans are custom plans created by the planning manager. They let planning managers define goals, set targets for these goals, and then roadmap the work to ensure goals are assigned with the plan work. And strategic planning workspace in itself, it's a single platform, and it's a very powerful tool for strategic planning. It contains portfolio plans, it contains goals framework, flexible design, interactive visual roadmap, and work prioritization. So let's go ahead and open up enterprise goals over here and take a look at what I get over here. So these are the goals that I have associated with it. And when I take a look at the goals dashboard, then it shows me all the goals, the status of those goals, the total number of goals, what's assigned, what's not assigned to targets. It shows me the targets associated with those goals as well and the status of all those targets. It also shows me the strategic priorities, and I can click on any of these priorities and see all the planning behind it. I'm going to click on the planning over here, and let's go ahead and take a look at how I can plan, do the planning around my portfolios over here. I can go ahead and prioritize any of these. I can go ahead and these are demands, projects, epics, just pretty much name it. I can go ahead and create a brand new demand, brand new epic, or brand new project and associate that with this portfolio plan over here. I can take a look at the roadmap and see where my organization is heading. Okay. I can take a look at the capacity planning associated with all these projects, and in turn associated with the portfolio plan. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of these goals over here. I'm going to click on the goals over here and open up improve employee satisfaction goal. And as you can see here, that these goals are, it's in the state is progress, and the status is green, and I can see the owners, I can see the assigned entity type, which is, and it belongs to HR. I can see the owner of this, and then there's a lot of other details. And not just that, I can also see who is the owner. I think we just saw the owner. I can also see the targets associated with it. So with the goal framework for SPM, I can create goals, set targets, evaluate the progress of the goals and targets, and see where the organization stands. I can go and put a plan together. One of the things which comes with SPM is target automation. So in the end, this helps to ensure that the entire organization focuses efforts on the same strategic priorities. After goals are created, you can associate them with work, planning items, strategic items like demand, project, epic, programs, and initiatives all the way through. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. And these are all those projects, demands, epics, which are associated with the organizational goal that I have over here. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the idea. So right now I'm in the idea portal, and the idea portal accelerates and organizes idea gathering, evaluation, selection, and execution. So this is part of the innovation management tool, and this enables you to gather and evaluate ideas efficiently and to quickly identify and process the ideas with the greatest potential for implementation. Users can submit ideas, from the idea portal here. As you can see, I can go ahead and do a vote up, vote down. Okay, so here's my vote over here. And so this basically improves, employee engagement, and employees can really reach out with their ideas and enter them in the system. Idea managers can evaluate them and approve them depending on the feasibility, and it's got a whole different workflow that it goes through, before it gets approved. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these ideas over here, which is, I think I'm going to go ahead and enter an idea, which is going to be automated remediation. Let's go ahead and open up the idea. Not a lot of words on this idea, but the reason I want to show this is because this has been through the workflow. So let's go ahead and open this up in the platform, and let's go ahead and take a look at it. So right now it's at the completer state over here. So when an idea is submitted, it goes all the way from submitted to being approved in backlog to basically being completed. And I can also see that my idea over here has been associated with a demand. I can very easily take a look at the status of the demand associated with my idea as well, and my demand as well is completed. So let's go ahead and take a look at, at the idea in itself. I'm sorry, at the demand in itself. So I'm going to go to the demand screen over here, and let's go ahead and talk about the demand management. And I think I already, so here's the demand workbench. This is, so basically the demand workbench provides a central location for viewing and assessing all the business demands. And in the demand management area over here, you can assess the ideas submitted through the idea portal, or demands can be created in here in itself. And you can track the progress of an accepted idea as it moves through the demand life cycle. Yes, just like an idea, even a demand has got a life cycle, which walks through basically when an idea has been submitted all the way till it's been completed. And what you see right now in the demand workbench over here is a bubble chart up in the top. And if I click on any of these demands over here, it shows me the risk, value, and the size associated with these demands. And demand managers can go ahead and put a governance around it and then evaluate these values around it and then place it at the right place. Down at the bottom is where I can see the list of these demands in a list of the demands over here. And I'm going to go ahead and try, let's just say, opening any of these, which is going to be automated remediation. Okay, so I'm going to go back to demand and then do that again. Make sure that that's the only selected criteria. So here's my demand. Let's go ahead and open it up and let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's minimize the bubble chart up in the top. And I can see the different stages that it progresses through. As it's entered, it goes from draft, submitted, screening, qualified, approved, all the way to completed. And I can see that this is a strategic demand versus an operational demand. And I can also see that there's a project also associated with it. So it seems like a demand has been executed and as a project as well. And we're gonna pretty soon go ahead and take a look at the project as well. So this way I can walk you through one case all the way from idea till delivery. Let's scroll down and take a look at the details over here. I see that there's a portfolio associated with it, which is digital business transformation. There's a business case associated with it as well. As I scroll down, I can see, the whole of the business case, risks associated, enablers, barriers, in scope, out of scope, assumptions, and a whole lot of things associated with this demand. I can see financials. I can see the assessment data, any kind of notes, preferences as well. And down at the bottom, if I go down, I can see any kind of task associated with the demand, the different stakeholders, requirements, risks, issues, decisions, everything. I can have a demand baseline and I can have assessment results for it as well. Isn't that cool? It just basically, walks you through, shows you kind of like a very holistic view of every single thing. And while you can also dig into it and take a look at the details over here. So with that being said, now let's go ahead and take a look at the projects over here. And I'm going to go to the project workspace over here. And as you can see over here, project workspace will display a consolidated view of all the projects where we can easily track the progress of each project, view project timelines, and monitor key performance indicators. Let me go ahead and select any project, which I'm going to go ahead and select the project automated remediation. As you know, we've been actually following the idea all the way through execution. And over here, there are several different tabs ranging from analytics, details, planning, resources, financials, status reports. So let's go ahead and take a look at the analytics tab. This tab will display project phases, status, how much percent has been completed, how much time has elapsed, risk, issues, actions, change request, stories by state, task by state, task assignment. So this dashboard gives you an awesome view of where your project stands. Let's go ahead and take a look at the details view of the project. And these are the different, stages of my project. And I can see that there's different states. I see that it's in the execution state over here. And there's a project manager, and I see that it's work in progress. And if I scroll down over here, so other than the dates, I can see the portfolio that it's been assigned to, and I can also see the program that it's been assigned to. And yeah, and here down at the bottom, I can also see the demand. Seems that this project was created from the demand automated remediation. So I can click on this icon and take a look at the demand as well. So very strong UI. I can see the business case, the risks, the enablers, the barriers, in scope, out of scope, assumptions associated with any of these associated with this project. I can see the financials. I see that there's a total planned cost of $425,000, whereas the planned benefit is $500,000, which basically means that this project has a return value of $75,000, so that's not bad at all. And then down at the bottom, and by the way, there's the score, there's notes and preferences. Down at the bottom, I can see the project tasks, and this is what makes it interesting. So what makes this project really interesting is that I have these different phases over here, and it's a combination of waterfall and agile. And I can see that The development phase over here is part of the agile phase. Along with that, I can see any kind of dependencies. I can see the plan date, the end date, and all other details. I can see the stories associated with this. I can see the epics, the resource plans, the cost plans, the baselines, the status reports, the risks, the issues, the time cards. Usually there would be time cards or none over here, but I would see the time cards, expense lines, and all those different details. Now let's go to the planning tab over here. So the planning tab basically gives me two different, basically gives me two different views over here. I can actually see that as a planning console. I can also see that as the project workbench over here. But so the planning tab displays all the project tasks with the timeline along with the percent of completion. And I can click on this face over here and it's going to show me all those different tasks associated with initiation, associated with the planning. I can see the different tasks associated with execution and control. And with development phase, in line with what we talked about, since this is agile, whereas everything else is waterfall, I can see that it's agile over here. And I can right click on it and I can view the stories associated with it. And I can see that there are stories over here and there are backlogs and there's sprint planning in here. And then I can create stories over here and then there's sprint tracking over here and all those great things that you're going to need. So which is what we're looking at right now is the storyboard. Isn't that great, guys? An extremely powerful tool. And now I can have resources over here as well and associated resource plans. I have two different resource plans associated with this project. One is for architects, the second is for analysts. And I can go ahead and either just plan them out or I can go ahead and hard book them as well. And so these are allocated right now. And these are the list of architects, and this is the capacity in which I want to book them out. Financials displays all the CapEx and OpEx costs like planned cost, budget cost, actual cost, planned return, and more. So there's no option to modify the values over here, but you can pretty much just go ahead and view everything. So in line with what we talked about, these are all my financials. And then the status report displays the status of the project in terms of dates associated. It will display resources, issues, actions, decisions, changes associated, milestones, and more. Okay, so pretty much all the details. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at program management. And I'm going to go ahead and click on program over here. Sorry, okay. And then yeah, let's go back and so yeah, program workbench is there. I'm going to go back to programs over here and then click on the programs, open that up. So I get two views over here. One is the workbench. The second one is the program dashboard. Let's go ahead and open up the program workbench over here. And this is basically going to show me, the list of all of my programs and programs in itself are logically, you can go ahead and group related projects and demands under a single entity. You can, relate projects and demands, and this is what you call a program. You can have key milestones, anticipated risk and issues, and define that for the program. So basically, and so the workbench will show details of a program along with projects and demands that are basically part of it. And then the second view that I have over here is basically the program dashboard, which provides a central location to a program manager to generate different reports. So let's go ahead and take a look at program dashboard as well. Okay, and so in my programs over here, I can take a look at all my different programs, and I'm going to go to the program HR and Employee Engagement Program, which is right here. So I can see that there are two different projects associated with it. This is the planned cost, planned benefit, estimated completion, actual cost, and the actual benefit. I can see several different visuals, benefit plans by category, project planned, benefits by category, and then projects by business units, and a lot of different things. And so there are several different tabs, talk about pipelines, project health, data quality, actuals, calendar, all of that is basically laid out. So when you are making a program, you can attach several projects or demands to it. If you have already made cost plans for this project and demands, specific figures get combined from the program's cost breakdown. Additionally, the risk and problems associated with these projects and demands are also incorporated into the program. So basically what you can see is all of these being rolled up from all the risk, all the cost, all the risk and issues of the demands and projects that can be rolled up to the program and even to the portfolio associated with it. And so let's go back and take a look at my programs over here. I want to go ahead and open up HR Employee Engagement Program. So as you can see, I can click open and take a look at the different projects associated with this program and the priority level as well. And I can take a look at the timeline of these projects as well. On the right-hand side, I can see cost plan versus actuals, resources allocated versus actuals as well. And then there are project KPIs that I can specify, and I can take a look at those project KPIs from here as well. Okay, so now with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at portfolio management. Now, I can go ahead and open up portfolio management by going to my contextual menu over here. And let's go ahead and type in portfolio, sorry. And I'm going to scroll down to my portfolio dashboard over here. And actually, let's take a look at a list of all the portfolios. And I can see that these are the different portfolios that are in my system. I can go ahead and click them open and take a look at those portfolios as well. And while it's loading up, I'm going to see if I can. Okay, so I can see the different projects associated with my portfolio. Let's click it open and let's take a look at it. Let's take a very detailed view at the portfolio itself. So this is where I can see all the demands, all the projects, all the programs. If there are any programs underneath this, I can see the programs, risks, issues, cost plans, monetary benefit plans, non-monetary benefit plans, portfolio targets, planning and budgeting, everything associated with the portfolio. So the portfolio management aims to prioritize investment that supports a set of business goals. It represents a bucket of money that the organization plans to invest to achieve its goals. And it's a collection of related programs, projects, demands, meaning any portfolio can contain programs, demands, and projects. Let's explore more into this. And also the thing is that let's talk about a scenario where, portfolios are laid out by priorities. I can go ahead and create a portfolio, for a certain company with the IT priorities in mind. Or I can just go ahead and create portfolios by regions as well. So it really depends on how, how do you want to go ahead and group together all of your programs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the relationship that this brings in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slide deck over here. The structure of the portfolio in itself. So as you can see over here, I can have a pretty robust structure. A portfolio is a combination of programs, projects, and demands. And in the first picture over here, you see portfolio contains program, then the program contains demands and projects. In the second diagram over here, you can see that portfolio directly is related with demands and projects without a program. And the third one, program is not related to portfolio, but demands and projects are. So it could be several different combination, that I can use over here for these portfolios. Now, with that being said, yeah, so now let's go ahead and talk about licensing. So far we have seen the whole demo of SPM. Now let's go ahead and talk about licensing. And licensing is never an easy topic. I'm going to try, explaining as much as I can. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. So there are two different types of licensing, as you can see over here: role-based user model and unrestricted user model. So role-based user model contains requesters, business stakeholders, and SPM users. SPM user is basically any user with the rights to access one or more of the SPM applications and may perform any or all functions within the SPM application. So if I were to just go ahead and request, put in a request, for like submitting an idea, that's a requester. Requester does not require any kind of licensing. It's free of cost. Business stakeholder is basically, hey, if they're approving demands, and time cards, and that's basically the business stakeholder approver, and pertains to everything ranging from ITSM, DevOps, SPM, CSM, and all of those different other products within ServiceNow. Something which is very specific to ServiceNow is the SPM user licensing. And now let's go to the second slide, and this is going to make it a little more clear. So if you were any of these: portfolio manager, project manager, project coordinator, program manager, team lead, scrum leader, business analyst, SME, project member, team member, if you were any of these, then you would want to get an SPM user. But if you are a manager, VP, or director, and basically just approving demand for action or time cards and viewing project demands and other system reports, you might as well just want to go with, business stakeholder, which is a lot more cheaper than SPM user. Anyways, and finally, submitting ideas and demands from Idea Portal and Service Portal. That's just a requester, any employee, any end user, and that's free of charge. So let's go ahead and take a look at the two different packages, which are part of SPM licensing. It's standard and professional. And let's go ahead and look at how, what are the different licensing, between, how are the different features split up between standard and professional. Right off the bat, if you had, strategic planning is something that you're working on, then that's SPM. If it's, and this might even include, everything ranging from, strategy, goals. So that's going to be SPM professional. Also agile, if you're working on agile, then that's SPM professional with an exception, which I'm going to cover in a second. So let's start from the top: project portfolio management, demand management, financial planning, resource management, release management, time cards, digital portfolio management, innovation management, portfolio planning, and collaborative work management. That's all part of SPM standard. Anything with portfolio planning, that's all part of SPM standard. With professional, on the top of project portfolio management, you also get hybrid management. On innovation management, you also get hybrid management. And when it comes down to strategic planning, that's only SPM professional. You got to get, SPM pay the top dollar. Now let's go ahead and talk about agile development. So there's agile teams also, which includes agile development. And if that's something that you had from a purchase of a different product of ServiceNow, then you can take that and top it up with SPM standard with no cost and still use agile development. But if you don't have that, then you will have to go ahead and purchase it as part of SPM Professional. Test management, Scrum programs for Agile 2.0, Scale Agile framework, investment funding, and then predictive intelligence, and virtual agent, performance analytics, app engine starter. So actually, performance analytics and app engine starter are shared between standard and professional. And app engine starter, basic, both of them for both the two versions comes with 5 tables. And if you wanted to have more than that, it's extra licensing. Also, they come with spokes which can be used with Integration Hub, and they come with a certain amount of transactions. Also, the virtual agents, which are included as part of professional, they include a certain amount of conversations per user, which I believe at the top of my head is 1,000. So there's a whole big difference between portfolio planning and strategic planning. This really helps to understand, what makes strategic planning as part of the premium package. Okay. So I think that with that being said, I think being pretty considerate of the time over here, I think that this is pretty much it from my side. Feel free to ask me any questions.
Well, thanks, Sameer. A lot of great information. I know I learned a lot. I hope everybody else did. I'm gonna take some frequently asked questions, questions that we get a lot, and some questions that we've had. How is ServiceNow ITBM different from SPM?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's some amount of confusion around that. There's some documentation from ServiceNow which still says ITBM, but ITBM is renamed to SPM. And this is from the San Diego version, from what I can remember. And so SPM introduced, strategic planning, which was not there in ITBM. And initially, ITBM was part of just the IT team. It was just focused on the IT team. But now SPM can be used for pretty much any kind of team in the organization. And in ITBM, APM was included as a separate license, but in SPM, APM is not included at all. So APM itself is a standalone module and application.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sameer. Our
Welcome.
next question is what integrations are possible with SPM?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times I get the question that is, if I'm still using Jira, can I go ahead and still leverage Jira for all my deliverables, or keep using Azure DevOps, for all my deliverables, and use ServiceNow for everything else in SPM? Yes, that's definitely possible. So there's Jira and DevOps integration is already there. And then plus it comes with a whole set of spokes in the integration hub, which can be used for any kind of integrations.
Okay, great. Thanks for that answer, Sameer. Our next question is going to be what version of virtual agent do I need from SPM professional version?
Yeah, so virtual agent is part of SPM Professional, and it's a full version. But the thing is that it comes with a limited number of conversations per user, and in line with what I was saying, from what I can remember, it's like 1,000 users. I'm sorry, 1,000 transactions.
Okay, great. Another good question is how does hybrid model work in SPM?
So hybrid model, I think that so it's basically allows organizations to use both waterfall and agile methods. You know, in strategic planning, you can use waterfall method for defining high-level goals, objectives, and timelines. During execution, you can switch to agile methods, which contains sprints, epics, and then stories, tasks, and a lot more. So I think that that's really what a hybrid model is defined in SPM.
Great, thanks, Samir. Our next question is going to be, could you please elaborate more on strategic planning workspace?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So a strategic planning workspace to start with is part of the professional version. It does not come with the standard version. And in brief, it's like a single inventory of all the work, for both agile and traditional, to review, evaluate, and prioritize the right work for your team to pursue. You know, without strategic prioritization, users must review multiple systems, and this is one of the problems that I've always seen. There's so many different systems that the whole strategy gets lost. But with this, it's all like built within the strategic, planning workspace, and you can just use one single tool to review all of that in one single place.
Okay, great. I think we have time for a few more. What is the difference between goal framework and goal framework for SPM?
Yeah, so I think that this question is usually from those who've been using the goal framework, which is built within ServiceNow. With SPM, there's a goal framework for SPM, so it includes everything which is available, with the goal framework in itself, talk about, creating and managing goals and targets, all of that is already included. With goal framework for SPM, you can go ahead and automate the targets. You know, it's only available to SPM Pro customers. You can manage goals with the strategic planning workspace, and just much better visibility and more automation for target progress in there.
Okay, great. I just want to try and fit these last two questions in here. Is agile development supported in SPM standard?
Technically, if SPM is the only licensing that you're buying, then it's supported in SPM Professional. Okay, but in standard, it's only traditional waterfall. But the thing is that if you have agile teams, which has been purchased from a different product, then you can top it up on SPM standard and still go ahead and do agile development.
Okay, great. Thanks. Last question is, what is the difference between SPM standard and SPM Pro applications?
So SPM standard customers, yeah, so that's a licensing. So SPM standard, customers get portfolio planning capabilities, whereas SPM, professional customers get strategic and portfolio planning capabilities together. And in lines with, what I was just showing, there's agile development, there's a lot more strategy development. So portfolio planning is best suited more for like traditional work delivery, where there's mostly waterfall, but strategic planning is mostly for agile, where the teams got to keep up with the fast pace of the C-level guys. That's when the strategic planning is required.
Great. Well, thank you so much for answering those questions, Sameer, and thank you for all the great information. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone else did as well. Well, this is just going to about wrap us up for this webinar. Thank you for everyone for attending. If you have any questions, have any ServiceNow projects coming up, questions about licensing, my contact information is on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Again, I want to thank our ServiceNow practice lead, Sameer Mohammed. Thank you so much for all
You're
of the
welcome, Steve.
valuable information. And until our next webinar, like I said, reach out if you have any questions. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and have a great rest of your day.
And also on the top of that, if you have a feedback, please feel free to send it out to me. I want to improve the content and try bringing better content, even in the next licensing series that we have. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.